Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Am I recording? I forgot to check. Yes, I am. This is episode 139 of Dude and a Monkey. I am piloting the Red One X-Wing this week, and my name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by...
Foster, hello everybody.
And we are also delighted to be joined by the man who we've been referring all our Star Wars queries to for the last month and a half. Mr. Steve Nixon. Hello there, sir.
Greetings. This is indeed Steve, sometimes known as the Ginger Prince.
Indeed, yes. And Steve is on as he is the Star Wars man, and very keen to get into this discussion of Episode 7, considering the slating that Mark has been giving the Star Wars saga. So it's, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted just to back off, light the fuse and just watch the fireworks, frankly. But you never know, Mark might have liked it. Mark did like Jedi.
I did like Jedi, yes.
I have had my head in my hands the last couple of weeks listening to you guys. I've loved the sort of sheer bemusement of Ian as Mark lays into perhaps the greatest film ever made, The Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, I'm expecting an entertaining evening.
Yeah, man. So Steve is actually going to join us for the whole thing as well, which will be great. So before we get on, Steve, do you have anything to promote or plug? I saw that you were donning a mic for something the other day as well.
Yeah, I am. I'm the UK reporter for the Star Wars Action News podcast. I've been since 2007, so it's quite a long relationship. And yesterday we were recording our year review shows, our two end of year review shows. And of course there's a big section there where we're talking about The Force Awakens, but we also focus mostly on the collecting aspects of Star Wars. So there'll be a second show that focuses more on that. So I think we recorded about 5 or 6 hours worth of content yesterday, and I think the first episode of that will be out next week, probably around Tuesday time.
And I mean, especially with it coming up to Christmas and New Year, so there's a lot of kind of podcasts taking time off as well. It's good to have podcasts that are still rolling with long content like that as well. I mean, I know I appreciate that kind of thing as well. That's fantastic, though. Fucking 6 hours of content, Jesus.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, the guys at Star Wars Action News have been going 10 years now. They had their 10-year anniversary in July of this year, and like I say, I've been with them for 8 of those years. And they are the hardest working team of podcasters. It's a team of up to about 15 people who all work together to put the content out there, and it's always a good listen. And you don't really have to be a Star Wars collector. I think sometimes it helps to be a Star Wars fan. But if you have a slight interest in the saga, then for me it's a good download. Oh, definitely. So yeah, if you want to go out and download that, the website's www.swactionnews.com. Always a good listen.
Fantastic, great stuff. Mark, anything from you this week?
No, I've literally just been decorating my house. That's all. So.
Yeah, but at least you're in, though. At least you're in.
Yes. Yeah, it was. We got to the point of where we were too much in between both houses to not kind of move into this one. But I have 3 vegetable racks to put up tomorrow, and then I'm done from there. Vegetable racks? Yeah, vegetable racks. Racks to put my vegetables in.
Is that a normal thing?
I mean actual vegetable racks, that's not a euphemism. It's not something to put my junk in.
Nice. Do you refer to your junk as vegetables?
Not usually, no. Just that one time and possibly another time.
Yeah, nice. Okay. I've just been recovering from the shits, so I haven't had much going on either, to be fair. So let's move swiftly on. So we're going to talk about some trailers. Obviously, with Star Wars out, shitloads of trailers wanting to get played before Star Wars. And who wants to start us off? Steve, how about you, man? Have you actually managed to see any of these, or are you a trailers man?
Oh, I love a good trailer, yeah, definitely. So I saw a couple. I'll talk about a few that came before The Force Awakens, if I may.
Yeah, do it.
One which I've seen twice, because of course I've seen The Force Awakens twice, and it was only during a conversation this afternoon with my good lady wife Suzanne that she told me that I had the wrong name of the film. So that's how effective this trailer was. I genuinely thought the film was called Moby Dick, but apparently it's called something else.
In the Heart of the Sea.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I've sat there and I've watched the trailer twice, and yet I had no idea that I genuinely thought it was called Moby Dick. So I presume it's a rather accurate retelling of the book. Not that I've read the book, but I presume it goes there. And for me, it looked like a fairly interesting actioner. It's one that I'll wait to see on Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's not something I'll go to the cinema to watch, but there were a few interesting ideas there. I don't know. Whenever I see this sort of at sea, I remember Life of Pi and how much I dislike that. So, I don't know whether, like I say, I think it's going to be a Netflix watch rather than a go to the cinema.
No, yeah, we're actually reviewing it next week, so we'll tell you whether it's worth actually checking out. I believe the thing is, the trailer does say like the true story behind the legend, and then there's just like a card that says Moby Dick.
Yeah.
So I could see how that trailer would make you think it was Moby Dick. That's the bit. I mean, apparently it's the true life story that inspired the story Moby Dick, but it kind of is Moby Dick, is it?
It seems to be. I don't know whether it's either sitting itself between two stools or they've just whether they've just kind of gone, right, we wanted to make like the story behind Moby Dick, the story that inspired Moby Dick, and then the marketing people have gone, could we just call it fucking Moby Dick? And they've kind of Ron Howard's kind of gone, no, but we can put Moby Dick in a title card.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm looking forward to it. I'll give Ron Howard a fair shake, and it looks like something that might be worth seeing on a cinema screen. And I've got permission to go and see it Boxing Day morning, and I think it's going to be with Christmas and then Lottie's birthday on the 28th. I think I'm going to need just a few hours.
Yeah.
Like just in the cinema, so I'm looking forward to it more for that than anything else. And if it's a good film, it's a bonus.
It appeared that Brendan Gleeson might be playing sort of a narrator character, which is what made me think perhaps it is more directly attached to the book,
Mm-hmm. And you say there was a couple of things. What else have you seen there?
The other trailer that I remember seeing, well, actually, there are two more that I remember seeing. Both were quite, child orientated. One was the Goosebumps. Have either of you seen that one?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it looks fun, doesn't it?
Mm.
I've always been partial to a bit of Jack Black. And, I think there seem to be some quite fun monsters being released from those books. Again, I've never read the Goosebumps books, so I have no idea what they're like. But, there seem to be quite a few nice action set pieces, a large Ferris wheel tearing away through a forest. So again, it's something that I'd consider checking out.
Yeah, it's a good idea doing the way they've done the Goosebumps movie, rather than going, because they've wanted to do one for years, but rather than going, right, let's pick a Goosebumps book and make a movie of that. They're too short to do that with. So there was talk of trying to do an anthology before, with having it just be somebody reading them, and then that they'd be reading the kids, and then they'd be enacted out as like an anthology. And then the idea came, well, why don't we instead of focus on a book, why don't we take some of the characters that he's written, and do a fucking Jumanji style kind of thing, and that's where that was going to born out of. So. I mean, his books are incredibly successful. I mean, he is actually, R.L. Stine's, it's ridiculous. He's one of the biggest selling authors of all time. It's, it's a good way to kind of introduce kids again to that kind of world. I know Isabel loved the Goosebumps books when she was a little bit younger.
She did. I fucking loved them when I was younger.
I read them. I had a few when I was a kid, yeah.
Mm.
You see, I've never read them, but I absolutely love Jumanji. It's one of my favourite sort of, family films. Absolutely great energy to that film, and I got the feeling that this is going to, be something similar, be in that same vein.
Yeah, I mean, it did quite well in the States. I know it got really good sort of press actually. A few people were quite kind of shocked about, well, oh, okay, that kind of came out of nowhere and was quite good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
So the other one that I saw that was probably in the same vein then was the trailer for the BFG. And that seemed to be quite hyping up front the relationship that they've had with Spielberg. I don't know exactly what role he played in there, but I definitely saw his name as part of the trailer.
He's directing it.
He's directing it, is he?
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
wow. I got to be honest, I wasn't particularly taken with that trailer. I don't quite know what it was. It just seemed a bit obvious the minute it came on screen. I knew what it was. I knew it was the BFG. But I don't think that's something that I would consider. I'd definitely be choosing Goosebumps over that from having seen both trailers.
It's kind of interesting from a kind of an inside baseball point of view with this, that it's the first time that Spielberg's actually done a film that's got the Disney label on it. And it's also the last film that, DreamWorks has got like this distribution deal with Disney for. He's basically going back to Universal that, obviously he was kind of associated with in the 80s and the 90s. And this is his big last hurrah with them. And the kind of the Disney taking ownership of the BFG feels weird to me. Mm-hmm. It never really did with like Alice in Wonderland, but it's something as kind of idiosyncratic as that, having the specifically Disney label on it. It just feels really jarring. But I don't know. I mean, I'm interested in seeing Mark Rylance as the BFG. But yeah, the trailer, there is fuck all to it.
Yeah, I watched it last week and I've kind of already forgotten pretty much everything that happened in it. It just kind of went straight over me, to be honest. It was a little bit like, I could never stand was it the BBC did the cartoon for it? I couldn't never stand that, and I wasn't a massive fan of the story itself, to be honest. So it did kind of drift by me.
Fair play. Anything else there, Steve?
No, I think they're the three that I could recall. Okay,
so big ones this week then, I suppose. The already Simon Pegg bashing Star Trek Beyond. That's fucking fascinating, that is. I am convinced if the reaction for that trailer was positive, Pegg would not have come out and said, "Oh, well, it's not the film. It's not the film."
Yeah. It was very reactionary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally, I thought the trailer looked alright. I mean, yeah, they're actioning it up, but they do have to get bums on seats, and they didn't get enough bums on seats with Star Trek Into Darkness by it being played as fucking miserable as shit in the trailers. So here, you've got it bright, you've got it colourful, you've got lots of weird landscapes, and you've got Kirk on a motorbike. I'm fine with that.
They do appear to have kind of gone, right, we've moved on from the Into Darkness now, and we're gonna add a little bit more of the levity from the series, which I don't know if that exists in the series, so I'm not a fan of them, but I've always thought that it was. I think a lot of people did complain that Into Darkness was a little bit too darkness.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Lin was actually quoted in an interview last week saying that he's politely ignoring Star Trek Into Darkness, his words. And I love that, because we were around the in-laws last night and Star Trek was on Channel 4, and I just ended up watching about 40 or so minutes of it. And that film is sparky and bubbly, and it is kind of fun. Into Darkness isn't fun. Star Trek Beyond looks like it could be fun.
Yeah.
And I'm down for that. I think this is going to be like the kill or cure for Star Trek on the big screen for the time being. If this one doesn't do well, I think they're done with this cast. But if this one does do well, then it's going to rejuvenate it. And
isn't this Pine and Quinter's last one they're signed up for?
I wouldn't be surprised. Pre-picture deal sounds probably about right.
Surprised if let's say they wanted to continue it, Quinter was on board, would continue it, because he's, the guy played a villain in Hitman Agent 47. Whereas Pine does seem a little bit like he'd, at the minute that contract's fucking over, he will go out and celebrate.
Yeah,
He's a curious character, I think, Chris Pine. I think he's one of those that had no ambition to ever be a movie star, then kind of was on the cusp of becoming one, and went, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this really that much.
It's like the Chris Evans school.
A little bit, and kind of backed off from it a little bit, and he wanted to, go back and just sort of be a little bit more of a character actor. He's that kind of thing. He happens to be ambitious to be a character actor, but, like we've said something about Tom Hardy, but, has the looks of a leading man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know. It's the best thing I've seen him in was Unstoppable. But even then I felt Denzel carried him, for quite a bit of the film.
He's good in Stretch, mind.
He's good in Stretch, and I thought he was very good in, Smoking Aces, but then again, I think Smoking Aces, I will defend that fucking film to the hilt.
That's it.
Yeah,
am I to understand that Pegg's written this?
Yes,
he's co-written it. Yeah.
And has he written himself a nice big part in it?
He's in the trailer a lot.
Well, that's where I've not seen the trailer, but that's where I'd be very apprehensive if I was a fan. Of course, it's the wrong franchise for me, so I'm not that arsed about it. But for me, Pegg is someone who's made some very erratic film choices of late. And he needs something good to bring him back, and I'm not sure this is going to be it.
The thing I kind of Pegg bash quite a lot, but his writing is not something he's particularly famed for. I mean, yes, he co-wrote the Cornetto trilogy, but I still contend, given the evidence of Paul, I contend that Edgar Wright was the fucking driving force behind that. And, I don't know. It's not Pegg's franchise either. Trek is not something that he seems to have particularly grown up with. He is in the trailer a lot. But the thing is, in his defense, it might be because Scotty is a bit of a comic relief character in this franchise, and this one does look like it's going to be lighter. So instead of focusing on the Kirk Spock thing quite so heavily, maybe they are bringing others in. I mean, I'd like to see Anton Yelchin get more to do.
Yelchin would like more.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. No, absolutely. No, I mean, seriously though, yeah, absolutely. I don't know, this is a fascinating one, but it's Justin Lin. He's gone from the Fast films to Star Trek, which is a very interesting jump. We'll see. But then again, John M. Chu went from G.I. Joe 2 to Gem and the Holograms. Yeah. So, there you go. It's Star Trek Beyond. It's going to be an interesting one. It feels like a film that is just coming out through obligation more than anything else.
I didn't even realise they were doing. I just thought Star Trek was something that they weren't doing another one of, and then all of a sudden people were going, that Star Trek trailer's a bit shit. Going, what? But they're doing another fucking film.
I don't know. Like I say, I thought the trailer was alright. It looks like it could be fun, but it does also look like it's going to be entirely inessential.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing about next summer, you've got Civil War and Batman vs Superman hitting pretty fucking early, and after that, I don't really know what the big hitters are.
It's after how big a year this has been. It is a quieter year next year in terms of there's still stuff out there, but there's not kind of as many. It's not once every 2 weeks for the next 4 months. There's going to be big movies.
Mm.
To go back to the Unstoppable film, I think after the Force Awakens this week, I think that's the Unstoppable train. I think Star Trek is very much running out of track.
Yeah. I mean, on the big screen for sure. It can't really hold a candle now. In fairness, and it kind of is up to for everybody else to catch up really now, isn't it? After the fucking few days that Star Wars has just had. I mean, it's amazing. But yeah, Star Trek Beyond. Independence Day Resurgence.
Not watched it. I despised Independence Day.
You're an idiot. Independence Day Resurgence. I think it looks fun. Goldblum's back, baby. That's all I need. And, you know, Micah Monroe's in it. I'll watch her. It do pretty much anything, except for It Follows again. And yeah, it doesn't really give you too much of an idea. In this one, it's got an alien ship that looks to be bigger than the Earth. So, yeah, there you go. I don't really have much more to say on that.
I've not seen the trailer. Does it have anything like the White House being blown up? Is it?
No.
Nothing like that, no?
Not really.
Should have started with them going, well, we finally finished rebuilding the White House, and some fucking thing blows it up again. And a man throwing his hat down going, damn it!
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of looks interesting because they're saying that they've basically taken the downed alien tech and have kind of used it to improve Earth's defences. So it looks like Earth's weapons are going to be a lot more sci-fi, but then the aliens are going to come back and they're going to be a bigger threat. I don't know, it's kind of an interesting idea. It's going to be fun to see whether there's anything as kind of anachronistic as a bloody computer virus killing them this time. I'm sure it won't because they'll need more action, but...
It's got not Chris Hemsworth in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, Liam. Is Liam in it? I think he might be.
Yeah.
The lesser Hemsworth.
Yeah, the Hemsworth that really nobody cares about, do they? Let's be honest.
What's its release date? Is it coming out on July the 4th?
No, it's not. It's June the 24th.
Ah, you see, they've missed the trick there. Had it come out on July the 4th in the States, then I could see it just making money because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it will do all right. I think there's going to be nostalgia for Independence Day. Independence Day might genuinely be one of my most watched films of all time. And I'm not going to say it's a 5 out of 5 masterpiece or anything, but I find that film really fucking watchable.
And rewatch just to see if I watched it in a bad mood then.
Yeah, you're a mingy bastard anyway.
Mingy bastard.
It's a well-loved film. I mean, my missus really loves it. And there's some punch the air moments, isn't there? There's Will Smith, laying that alien out. There's, there's Randy Quaid, mad bastard with his, with his plane flying over, becoming the fighter pilot to save the day. There's some really punch the air moments. So yeah, I think it's well loved enough to drum up, a decent audience.
Because Will Smith's not returning in this, is he? But he's in some ridiculous thing of where they essentially he's not returning for it because he couldn't agree something with the producers, but he's still
probably
as a producer and he's getting points off it or something. I read.
Really?
Yeah.
What couldn't he agree apart for his retard son?
Probably. Do you know what? It probably wouldn't surprise me is if he did say that and they went, do you know what? No, he went, well, if you don't take my son, you don't get Will. And they went, that's brilliant. We'll take that. Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Fantastic. Because let's be honest, Will, you can't fucking sell a movie anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's almost to the point where he needs Independence Day 2 more than it needs him, And I mean, what's he doing instead? Suicide Squad, which is a massive fucking risk.
Well, it is, especially since essentially he's doing that where he's been apparently told you're a supporting cast member. You fucking begged to be part of this universe. You're a supporting cast member. We don't want you to think that you're the fucking star of the show. But yeah, he's credited as a producer on Independence Day 2.
Fucking hell. You just checked that, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, fair dues. Alright. That's weird that he's not in it then, but, yeah, okay, so, let's fucking get on, because, we need to talk Star Trek. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, teaser trailer. It's basically saying, oi, you look like Harry Potter, don't you? Don't you? Yeah. This is kind of connected. Oh, we're set in the same universe. There's not going to be Harry Potter in it.
Yeah.
But, Eddie Redmayne's in it. So, yay. There you go. That's that.
Yeah.
Eddie the Eagle, directed by my man Dexter Fletcher. I've liked both of his films he's directed so far, man. Wild Bill is awesome. Sunshine on Leaf was fun. Eddie the Eagle, why the fuck not?
Yep.
Please tell me this is about actual Eddie the Eagle,
yep.
ski jumper Eddie the Eagle.
Yep.
Awesome, I'm in.
I'm in for that one, because I think it looks like it could be quite good.
Yep, it's It's the guy, the kid from Kingsman, as Eddie the Eagle. It looks like he's put on some weight and mate, there's some like prosthetics going on and stuff. Like, it looks like he's chucked himself into it. And Hugh Jackman plays his trainer, so why not? The trailer's good. It looks like there's some money behind it as well. I'm really pulling for that one, I must say.
Editor's note, we then had some technical trouble which involved a lot of faffing about, none of which you're going to hear, and there's going to be a smooth, buttery transition into the next bit. Yeah.
Star Wars! Let's just talk about Star Wars.
Woo!
Right. Episode 7, The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams, stars Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Donald Gleason, Gwendolyn Christie, kind of, Adam Driver, others. You've all bloody seen it. Steve.
You know.
Yeah. Steve, tell me how much you loved it. Go on.
I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. It's better than all of the prequels by a long way, and it's not as good as any of the original trilogy for me. I thought it would come down to 8 out of 10 on a second watch, but I'm happy to report it stayed exactly where it was. I don't think I'm ever going to go higher than 8.5. I don't think it beats Return of the Jedi, which is in sort of third place in my ranking. But I'm happy that the niggles didn't affect me as much as I thought they were going to do the second viewing. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm happy I didn't have too high an expectation, and I'm looking forward to the future. I think 8 and 9 are set up well. I think the single films, the anthology films that are going to come in between, are going to be nice in between parts to the main saga going forward. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot, and I'm really happy with it. You two guys?
Aces, Mark, hit me.
It's what you'd expect from a J.J. Abrams film, Star Wars film. It's perfectly solid. It's a good film. It's got its problems, but overall it is taken over by the fact that, yeah, you've got a solid film there. It's well written. It looks nice. The story flows well. It still suffers that problem that basically every modern blockbuster suffers, where it's 20 minutes too long. I think you'd be very hard. You'd have to be a seriously mingy bastard, and I am a mingy bastard, but I don't think I'm quite a seriously mingy bastard yet. Or you'd have to be somebody who is intentionally trying to dislike it to come out and say that you didn't kind of enjoy it, and there weren't bits where you were caught up within it. Even the most ardent anti-Star Wars people, which I certainly am not, wouldn't be able to say, yeah, it didn't get me at all, because it is. It's fun at points, and it's got action at points, and it's got comedy at points. It's a very good family movie. It's perfect for this time of year.
Mark, sorry, can I just check? Are you recording this? Because the last few minutes haven't recorded, so they are now. So thank you. Well, good man. Okay, that sounds like you were all right with it. So that's something. We're not going to come to blows.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, no, fair enough. So I came out of it thinking for me it was better than episode 4, but
wow.
After kind of reading reviews and thinking on it and whatnot, I think there are enough problems where kind of more slight niggles where it doesn't quite go original trilogy. I'm pretty much where Steve is with it. I think it does a great job of being both fan service, but also kind of opening up avenues for a new generation of fans to get in on. I mean, certainly there are more characters you can get behind in this one film than there were in the three prequels put together. And I don't know, it's amazing how Star Wars manages to make people seem instantly iconic. But, like, Daisy Ridley is instantly iconic. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, instantly iconic. if there were more of Poe Dameron, he would be iconic. There's not enough of Poe Dameron. I need me some more Poe Dameron.
It sounds like you've developed the same man crush I have.
I fucking love Oscar Isaac. And yeah, I mean, just the fact that his character in this is just a no-nonsense good guy. He's just totally, yep.
He's a bit Ace Rimmer. Don't mean as a negative, by the way.
Yeah, but, like, he's not Chris Barry, he's Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got that going for him.
What I'm saying is it works in the fact that he is just a nice guy. There's a few lot of people. You have to be a serious Arnold Rimmer to not like him.
You see, I don't think he is necessarily the true blue hero, the nice guy that you're saying. When we first meet him, he's had a bit of a chat with Max von Sydow, and then Ren comes off his command shuttle and comes down and talks to him, and then immediately we get that Harrison Ford-esque humour where he's like, do I talk first? Do you talk first? And you know, that's a bit of piss taking there that, I don't think the nice, true blue hero would have done. I get the feeling there is a bit of an edge to him, and, I presume we're all spoilers all the time. I think he's going to be the replacement Harrison Ford. I think they're relying on him to bring that acerbic wit that Ford brought to the original trilogy.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. That's what they're looking for from him, in terms of, sort of, instead of directly going, well, he's going to be the new Han, here he goes off with Chewie, that'd be too much on the nose. It is very much, look, this is, like you said, bringing that kind of wit and that kind of character to it.
They've shuffled the pack, definitely. The same archetypes are there, but they've sort of transferred them from the person you might have expected them to be to, another cast member. But I think they've got all the same archetypes that were there in the original trilogy already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when I say he's a straight up good guy, he is a straight up good guy. I don't think there's going to be any hint of
dark side
to him. Yeah, but he is going to have the acerbicness, as you put it.
Yeah, and I think he'd shoot first. You know what I mean? I think he's like, and he would shoot first. So, so there's that element of a bit of a bad boy about him as well as being a good boy,
But I mean, like, episode 8, I'm already looking forward to the further adventures of Poe and Finn. Like, I am very much, I really, really hope those two team up in episode 8, because their interactions, there's not a lot of it, but what there is gold. Like, them in the bloody,
the TIE fighter.
It's fantastic.
It was awesome. I think the film really missed interaction between Han and Luke. I was really looking forward to some interaction between Han and Luke. I didn't think they'd get rid of either one of them until we saw the two interacting again. And I think that might be coming, because Harrison Ford is listed as being in episode 8. So I think there are going to be flashbacks there, and we might see the two interact again. But I think the film really lacked that. But I think Finn and Poe's interaction made up for that. Like you're saying, that stuff in the TIE fighter, and also Finn on the ground when they were in the battle later on, and he was looking up at the sky, seeing what Poe was doing, and he was getting so excited about how good he was. That sort of stuff was gold.
Oh, when he's looking up, he's like, he's a great pilot, or whatever it is he says. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. And so there's the Oscar Isaac bit covered. Now, I mean, Daisy Ridley, holy shit. Like, that is some crazy good casting. I mean, good on J.J. Abrams, but I mean, good on the casting people as well.
Nina Gold, that's the woman who's responsible, Nina Gold, and she's done virtually nothing. I think she did a bit of Casualty. A claim to fame that a great uncle is, do you know Godfrey in Dad's Army?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
The old fella who always looked near to death. That's a great uncle, and I think that's the only sort of credible acting link that she's got.
She was in Betweeners 2, but scenes were cut.
Oh, it was cut out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So she wasn't going to be in Betweeners 2, but she's heading up quite well the Star Wars Force Awakens. So yeah, she's very good in it. She runs an awful lot in this movie, though.
Yeah, but she's not. But the good thing is, she's as much running towards things as she is away.
She's a very pleasant character to spend time with. She's got no kind of sort of weird affections where you look at her going, that's annoying. There's none of that. Every so often she does sound a little bit like Keira Knightley, which made me want to punch myself in the face. But then all I had to do was look and go, she's not Keira Knightley, so I don't have to punch myself in the face.
No, she seemed to have a bit of that AQI, that Aussie bit where they say something and their voice goes up a little bit at the end. I thought she was putting on an Australian accent for the first couple of minutes, but no, that was the only thing that sort of bothered me about her voice. I was just so impressed with how sort of childlike she portrayed the character for quite a portion of the film, but just how keen she was. She just seemed so excited to be in Star Wars, and I think that really, popped off the screen.
That's the thing. I mean, with the prequels, nobody's excited. No, everybody's taking it really, really seriously. I mean, McGregor gets moments, but like Portman.
The problem is, I think, with the prequels, is what they did was they essentially went out, or instead of going out like what they've done, they've gone out and they've got people who aren't massive stars. They went out and went, right, Ewan McGregor, he's the next big thing. Liam Neeson, Samuel L. Jackson, and they went out and essentially they picked sort of people who were very much becoming very established stars. Whereas here, they're going, look, here are these people. Some people might know they are, but we're going to make them fucking stars.
One of the most beautiful bits of the entire film for me was she sort of cooks herself some dinner, and by the way, that self-raising bread was awesome. I want me one of those machines. Anyway, she cooks herself a bit of dinner, and she just goes and sits outside, and then very sort of childlike, she puts on the X-Wing helmet. And it's like watching a 6-7-year-old girl at that point, and then it pans back and you've got that downed hat that she sat against, and that would just, that sent shivers right up my spine as a Star Wars fan. That was awesome. I think what I'd like to talk about is there's been a bit of debate that's just sort of come on Twitter and a few other mediums today, about people calling her a Mary Sue character. Something that, I mean, I've not studied cinema at all, so I wasn't familiar with this. Either of you familiar with this idea of a Mary Sue character?
Like someone who's just like good, and there's nothing apparently interesting about the character because of it.
To a small extent, I think it comes a lot from the fact that she seemed to acquire Jedi powers out of nothing. And it's sort of, that good character who unrealistically sort of ascends and saves the day, and I got to be honest, that was a big niggle for me the first time around, the idea that here's someone who apparently has got no sort of Jedi training.
Daughter.
Well,
I hope not, and I don't think so.
I think Mark's onto something, but I also think there's something else there that people have missed. The flashback sequence, which and perhaps flashback is the wrong phrase to use, the sort of forced dream, when she held on to the lightsaber. I really like that. I like the Empire sequence, where Luke goes in the cave tremendously. It's one of my favourite sequences out of Empire, and it sort of harkened back to that. But within that sequence, there was so much that I think I need to get it on Blu-ray and slow it right down. I get the feeling that Rey has been trained as a Jedi before. And I think she was taken from the Jedi Temple at an early age. So I think she has this innate ability, as someone, I know you're going to hate me for saying this with a high midichlorian count, yeah. But I think she's previously been trained as a Jedi. If you remember, they sort of said, through character conversation, that Luke had been training Jedis. And that Kylo sort of destroyed all of that, and it all went to shit. And I think perhaps Rey was part of that at a very young age. And then her parents sort of took her away from that and dropped her on Jakku. And she's, of course, waiting for them to come and pick her up. Now, who her parents are, I don't know. There's conjecture about who she's related to. It would make sense for her to be a Skywalker herself. But I think she's got Jedi training. And I think
fucking pray she's not a Skywalker.
If she's someone's kid, which I have a feeling they're going to play that card, it's a little bit like, you need to stop fucking playing that card.
I just like it's Kylo Ren. It makes sense, and it does kind of mirror what was going on with Luke and Darth Vader. It just don't be Luke's daughter. Please don't be Luke's daughter.
I have a feeling she might be, but
the thing is, I can't imagine Luke Skywalker fucking.
Well, he's the hero of the rebellion. He's blown up he's blown up 2 Death Stars or been involved in the destruction of Death
Jedi's
Stars.
aren't supposed to fuck, are they, though?
Yeah, but if you've got that hero status, you're going to put it about a bit, and...
Did.
Yeah.
I'd be alright if it was Obi-Wan's granddaughter or something like that. That would be fine.
That's a realistic possibility as well. I mean, she's got the English accent. Who says she isn't? Obi-Wan must have had liaisons on Tatooine.
Oh, Obi-Wan was fucking crazy in the prequels. You know he was.
Ewan McGregor's voice was in that flashback.
Yes.
That's been confirmed, so, or that dream sequence. So, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But for me, one of my first niggles, watching it was, that she acquired the Force powers so easily. And it seemed that when Kylo Ren tried to, read her mind, she could read him back. And I just wonder if sort of Kylo reading her mind triggered something that was there before, something that she'd had before. And that fits with the titles. I mean, the titles have always been so literal, haven't they? A New Hope, obviously that's Luke, The Empire Strikes Back, Vader's, putting the foot down, Return of the Jedi, Luke's back again. So this Force Awakening, is it the fact that it was already there, that she'd already had the training and it's just been reawakened by the old Kylo Ren, capturing her incident?
Can I just say that I missed Kylo Ren's name when somebody said it, and I got kind of that it was something like that. My brain changed it automatically, it was in there, because I needed to associate a name with him. So for the entirety of the film, my brain was calling him Kilo of Pain.
Well, he does bring several kilos of pain.
I thought, I actually prefer my name, to be honest, than Kylo Ren.
I'm sure he's had a kilo of pain when he's been at home cutting himself, because I think he's a bit of an emo, He
was incredibly emo. He was literally a petulant child.
Yeah, but that's awesome, though. I like that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I quite liked the fact that he's just an angry little bastard.
He's basically a spoiled rich kid who wants to be dark so fucking bad, but there's something in him pulling him away. But no, seriously, when he's getting out his fucking lightsaber and trashing the place, and the bit where the two stormtroopers are about to walk in, they just change their mind and walk back. That was brilliant. But
those temper tantrums were superb. The way he just switched that on and just wrecked the shop. But he's beautiful. The teen girls are going to love all of that. The complicated bad guy.
Yeah. No, even though it's the whole kind of I can fix him, I can turn him round. It's by the end he's killed Han Solo, and it's he's forever marked in these films as the guy who killed Han Solo.
Did you not think all that was telegraphed? As soon as Han started that walkout, you knew what was going to happen.
That and everybody just seeming to come in to watch it.
Yeah.
Even though I will say, I kind of thought, I all the way through I've been thinking Han Solo's going to die, just because I know Harrison Ford kind of wants shot of it all anyway. Even though it does seem like he kind of enjoyed this experience, and if he is back for a bit in episode 8, that wouldn't surprise me now, because it does kind of seem like all of this is giving him a bit of a pep. But I knew it was going to happen, but the scene played me, because I did start thinking, hang on a second, maybe, when he gives him, he presents the lightsaber to him. But I was kind of thinking, hang on a sec. But it was only for a second. It's like in Toy Story 3, where they make you think they're actually all going to die. Yeah. And they
no, for me, it was never... The walkway he walked across. No railing. There was no railing.
No railings on any of the fucking walkways in that Starkiller base, man. How can safety would you have a fucking nut?
Did they ever finish them? They always get to the point and go, oh, we just about finished it, but fuck it, I really want to use it.
It's Star Wars. Star Wars is not Star Wars without someone falling down a dirty, great big shaft.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true. But no, I mean, that scene actually, it worked for me. I get it. It's telegraphed as fuck. Like, as soon as, like, Finn and Rey and Chewie are all there, it's right, yeah, okay, so everybody's going to witness his death then. But I don't know. It's an iconic moment, you know, but, and I, to be honest, I think they pull it off.
It's a well done enough scene, yeah. It's even though you do see it coming a mile off, it is still quite effective, as it's killing off a major character.
Yeah, it worked for me. I was quite happy with it as a death scene. I think a lot of people have been upset because they wanted Han to go out, you know, in a blaze of glory. But for me, I was happy with that. You know, it's what a father would do. Leia laid it on pretty heavy before he left, that, you know, you're his father, you have to save him. So I think it resonates. I mean, I've got no kids, but you two are both fathers. I think it resonates with what a father would do. What I want is Chewbacca to go out fighting. If Chewbacca goes out like a bitch, then I'll be upset.
He will, though. You know he will. He'll be brawling, or he'll be in the Falcon, fucking deep in the shit. The thing is, Chewbacca's gonna want some fucking vengeance now as well. I'm looking forward to pissed off Chewbacca.
Yes, episode 9.
You know, I mean, you already get, yeah, no, exactly. But no, I mean, you already get him fucking blowing up. I love that gif, by the way. They're like, Chewbacca almost kind of like smiling and then blowing it up. But that's the thing. I really like Chewbacca's reaction, because he's like, right, fuck it, this base is going down. Yeah. Right, come on, you know, it's so good.
Kilo of pain straight away.
Yeah.
Kilo of pain.
I've got to say, one of the running things I really liked about it was Han Solo learning to love the bowcaster.
But here's the thing. He's been with Chewie for the last 35 years. Why has he never tried the bowcaster before?
No, I know, yeah, no, that totally, but still.
That was the first time we tried it, like the first time we used it, it was almost a, why the shit haven't I used this before?
It's just like it's like the second time he uses it, and there's just a look on his face like, this is fucking amazing.
The fact that he turns around to him at one point and says, I really like this.
Yeah, it was that bit, oh man, it was...
I want one for Christmas, I gotta be honest.
Totally.
So we've talked some of the good stuff about Han Solo. There were 5 minutes, I mean, Mark said it was too long. For me, it was 5 minutes too long. And here's the 5 minutes that really, really upset me, if you want me to get into it.
Yeah, go on.
And it's the bit where we're on board, not the Millennium Falcon, but on board the other ship that the Millennium Falcon gets sucked into. The bit where, that awful Scottish guy and his gang come on board, and then we've got the two guys from the raid who are completely wasted, who come from the other side. They're called the Kanji Club, and as soon as they said that, all I heard was the Culture Club. So all I'm getting is karma, chameleon, in my head all the way. Add to that, you've got some tentacled monster shit that's CGI, and it's just totally unbelievable. And that whole 5 minutes was so, I mean, we talked Star Trek before, that was so Star Trek. And when I saw that 5 minutes, I thought, oh shit, this is going downhill from here on in. Thankfully it didn't. But for me, if you want my special edition, that 5 minutes gets locked out. I know why they did it. I know they wanted us to take us back to Smuggler Han, and see a little bit of that side of him. But for me, I mean, what did you two guys think about that?
It's the most forgettable part of the entire film, yes.
Kind of misjudged part of the film. If you're going to put in front of people the two guys from the raid, whose names escape me right now, there, right, the only people who are going to recognise who they are people who have watched the raid and enjoyed the raid movies. Are going to look at it and go, oh, we're going to get some Star Wars kind of serious martial arts.
Yeah, we're going to get some hand-to-hand combat or something like that.
What you're going to have is essentially then that gang fighting that gang over who gets to kill Han or something like that, and then Han and Chewie kind of slip away as they're fighting. And then no, everything just explodes. It's kind of like, why were they even there then? What, that is just cameos for the sake of cameos.
But, I mean, the thing is, I was high on goodwill by that point because, I mean, Christ, the introduction of the Millennium Falcon, where they're running along and they're like, let's use that ship. No, that ship's garbage. Let's use that ship. Then the other ship blows up. And then they turn and it's revealed that it's the Millennium Falcon that they described as perfect. Fucking perfect.
It genuinely got me. I was not expecting it.
Neither was I.
And like you say, I had the biggest grin on my face.
Yeah, exactly. I caught myself in moments just smiling. And like, I don't catch myself doing that in films all that often. But the vast majority of this film, I was in a happy place. I was just totally in a happy place. That the niggles were just not. It was like Teflon. I was just bouncing off. But also the reveal of Han and Chewie, just walking into the ship, and I wasn't expecting that then either, because they say, oh, it's the First Order, and then boom. And I felt that was slightly spoiled by the trailer. Really? Okay. Fair enough. Chewie We're Home, I instantly thought that was going to be that. But you're right, the reveal of the Falcon was a high five moment. I mean, we went to see it at the midnight showing, and it was quite boisterous, and the crowd really loved that one. Yeah, I mean, the whole action scene after that as well, where they're like going through, is it the Down Star Destroyer that they're going through? It is, and what I really loved about this is for me, the TIE Fighter was the star. There was so much TIE Fighter action, and throughout the original trilogy, they were always presented as being a bit of a shit ship. They were destroyed incredibly easily, but there was so much TIE Fighter action. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, they're badass, man. I mean, you got the X-Wings as well, coming in around Maz Kanata's place, and again, just the X-Wing skimming along a fucking surface. I mean, I really liked that you got to see X-Wings and TIE fighters just not in space fighting above surfaces. I don't know, it was something new and awesome. I mean, the action for the most part really did work for me, but I mean, I gotta say, if I do have a problem with it is Starkiller Base. I get that the point of this film is to basically introduce the characters and the mythology to sustain future Star Wars films, and I think it does that absolutely successfully. But the almost kind of B story of this film, of Starkiller Base, is a bit lacking for me. I mean, a lot of people have said it's basically the Death Star over again, but that is a salient point.
But then again, one of my, not issues, but observations is there's a lot where you can go, that's very Star Wars. Not Star Wars universe, but the story's quite heavily sort of borrowed from a lot of things. You've got the fact that it's, the bad guy is, it's related to one of the heroes, and you've got all that, which isn't a problem. It all works quite well. It was a little bit like they went, right, we've got the Death Star, but we've got the Starkiller, which is just a really big Death Star. Well,
let's be honest, the whole film is A New Hope regurgitated. I mean, you've got a really important bit of information stored inside a droid, just like it was in, you could go through the whole film and you could match things up with A New Hope, but I'm okay with that. After the prequels, this was what was necessary. We needed to bring it back to where Star Wars began. But yeah, I mean, Starkiller Base, it was no Death Star for me. It was a weak idea, and I mean, what are the First Order doing? If you're going to build a new, new big killing machine, don't build something that looks just like the Death Star with the same fault that the Death Star has, that it can be.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. The fact that it is literally the same weakness.
I'll give them a pass. this time. But if that comes up again, if there's another giant spherical killing machine, that you know, then you've got to start asking questions. But I'll give it a pass this time. For me, a much bigger problem at the moment is Snoke.
Sure.
I hated the whole Snoke parts of the film. I'm glad they did him as a hologram, because I'm hoping he's going to be normal size and not.
He's going to be like that. Yeah, I was immediately thinking, right, so we got some fucking 40-foot bloke.
Yeah, but I was like that until you realise it's hologram, and you go, oh, that I can get behind the hologram. If he turns out to be a big 40-foot thing, then at that point it will be, yeah, I'm done. And I will probably end up just fucking walking out, because it makes no sense.
It all went a bit Lord of the Rings at that point, and you know, there's a bit of a fan theory going round that Plagueis, who's Sidious's master, of course Sidious talks about destroying him in the prequels, but if you look at Snoke, he's quite decomposed, and there's a fan theory going around that Snoke is actually Plagueis. And I wouldn't be too unhappy with that, as an idea, but there's got to be more to him for me, because if he's the ultimate bad guy, then he's a pretty poorly designed ultimate bad guy.
That's the thing, like, in the, like, pre-release stuff, they were saying he had to be motion capture, because you can't really describe his weirdness and his features, he's otherworldly. No. He's a bloke with some bits kind of with dents in his face, essentially.
A little bit like a rotting Voldemort.
Sure, yeah,
spot
yeah. That is spot on. The thing is, again, there's an awful lot of this film that is just setting up stuff, which I'm usually want to criticise for, like, Age of Ultron. An awful lot of that is just setting up shit for future films. But
while it's doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
While it's doing it.
Like, this has got the interactions, it's got the characters, it has got some arcs in it. Like, Kylo Ren basically is fighting between light and dark and goes dark. Yeah, and I mean, Rey, like, goes from waiting for her parents to not wanting to take the responsibility to, like, basically manning up. You know, so there's enough of that there. And Han Solo as well, there's an arc of manning up as well.
I think there's two arcs that are going to go forward with this, and you may disagree, but I think we're going to get the redemption of Kylo Ren over the three films. I think Kylo Ren is going to become good by the end of Episode 9. And I actually think Rey's going the other way. I think Rey's going dark over the next two films. The fact that she's going to find out who left her behind, who these parents are who left her behind, and I think she's going to become, it's going to be a switcheroo, so to speak. So I definitely think there's a lot to look forward to.
One thing I will say that I really hope disappears in the upcoming films is Donnell Gleeson's character, because the speech he gives about the Star Destroyer weapon thing was frankly a little bit embarrassing to watch. He was bad for large parts of this movie.
I can see Kylo Ren fucking doing away with him during Episode 8.
I would hope he gets pissed off and just goes, "Oh my god, you're just such a butt kiss. That's why you got here, because you're a butt kiss, clearly." And just as one of his little fucking emo moments, and I don't know.
You see, I wasn't enjoying Domhnall's performance up until that speech, and I thought that speech sort of brought his character back a little bit. And at the end, when all the troopers sort of put their right arm up in a bit of a sort of Nazi salute almost. So that speech did it for me. I sorry to disagree with you there, Mark, but
to me, it looked a little bit like a man who clearly is a small man trying to act like a big man there.
He's no Peter Cushing, that's for sure. Yeah. He also is back in Episode 8. And I know you might think, well, how's that going to happen? Because, the base blew up, but he did go and see Snoke just beforehand, and it did look like he was getting away.
Yeah, Snoke told him to get the fuck off, didn't he? So
Kylo Ren and come to me.
Yeah. Seeing as we're talking about the I want to call them the Imperials, the First Order, another of my massive gripes is, I'm a big collector, that's that's my thing in the Star Wars universe, and what's been pushed to collectors, since September, since the toys and the merchandise came out, was Captain Phasma. There has been so much Phasma merchandise. I know for a fact that a lot of what I'm going to get for Christmas is Phasma merchandise. I'm pretty pissed off about that now because, what a complete bitch. She did nothing. Why put Gwendolyn Christie in the role if you're not even going to take her helmet off? She could have been a man. She could have been a woman. It made absolutely no difference. She wasn't scary. She sort of had a go at Finn on the ship, but then sort of Finn didn't do what she said, and he helped release Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac, a bit later on. Eventually she got cornered by the heroes, put in a trash compactor. She did nothing. All chrome armour and no punch at all.
The best Captain Phasma related thing is Finn's pure joy in being able to put her down a trash compactor.
Yeah,
that's serious. I mean, we haven't talked much about John Boyega, but holy fucking shit, he is having so much fun. But that's it. It's mental how lacking Captain Phasma is, considering the whole kind of it's the first Star Wars villain that's a woman, they've been saying in the films and stuff like that, and it's just
she literally is so insignificant. She's so insignificant, the fact that I have the Wikipedia page for Star Wars Force Awakens open, and it lists kind of like all the cast in bullet points. She's not even a bullet point one, she's just listed later on as Gwendolyn Christie plays Captain Phasma.
Simon Pegg has as much to do as her.
And he does it worse, I've got to be honest. But, Phasma, the marketing has been Phasma, and yet she's a complete nothing. She is going to be in episode 8, so I can only hope that, Mark was saying before he wants this sort of Chewbacca vengeance. I'd like a bit of Phasma vengeance in the next film, because otherwise, I've spent about a couple of £100 on this girl, and she's badly let me down.
Yeah, I could see a Finn Phasma thing coming in episode 8. But
you mean a relationship?
No, God no.
Come on, Ian. That's what you've been fantasizing about.
No. Well, fair enough. Gwendolyn Christie. Actually, I was watching some interviews with the cast. Gwendolyn Christie has got the scariest fucking laugh I've ever heard.
I need to hear this now.
And she opens up her mouth as well, and it does look like she's going to swallow your soul.
She's a bit of an odd bird. I imagine she laughs like an horse.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It is kind of mean given, her fairly androgynous look. But seriously, it's a really fucking scary laugh. But John Boyega, come on now, how much fucking fun is he having?
Yeah, he is. He's definitely along for the ride, and he does seem to be really, really sort of pleased to be doing what he's doing.
I enjoyed his performance. I thought he did well. He was my big worry casting wise going in. I got to be honest, I didn't like Attack of the Block. I think I remember listening to you guys talking about it, or maybe it was Ian on Cinerama. I don't know how long ago it was, but
it was a while.
There was a bit of sort of misogyny in that film I didn't quite get with, and I didn't take kindly to the film at all. So yeah, he was a bit of a worry for me, but no, he allayed all those fears. And he had some really great humorous moments. My favourite bit was, he's having a conversation with Han, and Han starts doing the look to tell him something's happening behind him. And he just carries on for a little bit before he realises it's going on behind him. Classic moment.
Yeah, that's when she's climbing up the thing behind him.
Yeah. That's the thing. He's constantly having these plans to save her, but she doesn't need any saving. She's just fucking cracking on. Also, I've got to say, the scene where she's trying out the Jedi mind control on the Stormtrooper, and I've heard that Stormtrooper was Daniel Craig.
Correct. It is Daniel Craig. Yeah.
That's awesome.
because he got quite snippy and denied it, and basically said, "Why the fuck would I do that?" And then it's now come out that it is him.
Yeah, he was filming the Bond and he was at the studio for a day, and they roped him in to do it. And I like the way it's not just the first mind trick. There's a second mind trick where he tosses his gun away as well. That's really good. No, the other Boyega bit I like is where he's with Han and Chewie, and Chewie says he's cold. And Boyega says, "Oh, I thought we could use the Force," and Han says, "That's not how you use the Force."
Oh man, and also, I mean, it's cool how funny this film is. Just the bit where Chewie is getting nursed, and it's almost like, you know, she's like checking his wounds and whatnot, and she's almost saying like, "Oh, you've been a brave boy, haven't you?" That sounds really scary. I think that's actually a line, and he's like, "Ugh," and it's
absolutely brilliant bit. Absolutely cracked me up. My favourite funny bit of the film was where Leia's coming off the shuttle, and then 3PO comes off the shuttle. And he said, you know, he interrupts that sort of moment, and he said, you know, I'm C-3PO. You might not have recognised me because of my red arm. That was just superb.
My in terms of comedy moments, the best bit was where you've got Finn does the thumbs up to the weird Dyson droid, and it sticks out the lighter thing and thumbs up back to him. Which at that moment I was only a little bit like, I don't like that weird fucking ball thing. And as soon as he did that, I was like, I like that weird ball thing. He's like,
do you know, that does not surprise me. York's premier fire magnet enjoys the joke with a lighter.
Well done, Steve. That's good. That's the sign of someone who fucking listens. I will say as well, I very much liked, have you got a boyfriend, a cute boyfriend? I like Boyega there, that was awesome. It is, I don't know, it's just a crazy fucking entertaining time. It ticks all the boxes, it really does. I'm really fucking looking forward to seeing it again. It's probably not going to be until after New Year, but I'm really looking forward to it.
How did you both see it, and how many times have you seen it?
Once 2D.
Once 2D.
I've seen it twice 2D. I was just interested to see if either of you had seen it in 3D or even in IMAX, and what you thought.
No, I know Jordan went to see it today in IMAX, and Jordan doesn't like IMAX, does he?
No, he just WhatsApped us saying, I still don't like IMAX.
Yeah, I read his tweet, and he said pretty much he doesn't see the point of IMAX, so.
I love IMAX.
IMAX is fucking. It's just the IMAX in Cardiff is a fake IMAX, and right. It also Odeon were charging £20 for a ticket for like a Thursday morning showing, and it was like, no, that's not fucking happening. No way. I just used my unlimited card. Yeah. You know, done.
We're getting an IMAX literally 5 minutes round the corner from me, and it's.
Is it a proper IMAX though? IMAX. Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like a proper. It's going to be, apparently they're aiming for the same size as the Manchester one.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, and it literally is like 5 minutes round the corner from me, 10-minute walk round the corner. And it's fucking beautiful. Actually, my biggest complaint about it, and it's a very big but very small complaint at the same time with the film, is I do think it was a little bit too long, but you know the absolute ending where the film actually finishes and it ends, it should have ended about 7 or 8 seconds earlier.
In terms of holding the lightsaber out too long?
Holding the lightsaber out, where she holds the lightsaber out to him, there, it should end there. That's the perfect time to end it. Don't then end it with an ugly fucking helicopter shot.
Yeah, the spinning camera.
That was, oh my god, really? Right, not only is Star Wars, you're better than that. This film deserves better than that shaky spinning shot. Abrams usually knows better than that, and you had a perfect fucking, passing of the torch moment there to go bang, and then have the music, and you'd be like, that's it, that's brilliant. And then to go like that, it was like, Why? Why have you done that?
I've got to be honest, I was too fixated on how good Hamill looked like with his beard, how bedraggled he looked.
He just looked like the rakish hobo, didn't he?
Oh, he looked absolutely awesome. But no, I agree. That 7 or 8 seconds, yeah, that could have been trimmed, definitely.
I've got to say though, I loved the magnificent trolling of Max von Sydow being in it and Mark Hamill being second in the cast list. It's just.
It's awesome. Mark Hamill is one of the greatest voice actors of our generation. You know, with his Joker, he is so loved and so adored by a lot of people. And for him to be in this film and be second billed and not to say a fucking word is awesome.
I thought it was hilarious. I started thinking about 10 minutes towards the end, is Hamill even going to be in this? With all his fucking turning up to the premieres and like being in the interviews and all that kind of stuff, are they just going to completely like fake you out and just not have him be in it? But no, you do have the one shot. But Max von Sydow, that was amazing that Max von Sydow was in this. And, you know, there was all the mystery about what role he was going to have. And yes, he gets the first line in the film. But to be fair, pretty much any old man actor could have played that role. I mean, is he going to be in, like, again in flashbacks in episode 8 or something?
He's been confirmed for episode 8, yeah.
Has he really? Okay.
He has, yeah. But the way...
I read somewhere that he is also going to be in one of the
anthologies. Yeah. And the way he was talking to Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, at the start, he sounded like he was pretty integral. And until I read the credits at the end, I was thinking, who is he? Who's he supposed to be? You know, he must be someone the way he was talking. But I think he's called Tor Sanleka or something. The name doesn't. That's it. The name doesn't ring a bell at all in terms of, you know, the existing Star Wars mythology. But yeah, I've heard as well that he's going to be in an anthology.
Interesting. Fair enough then. I just thought it was kind of funny that they had him come in and then he was dead 5 minutes later. But what did we think of Maz Kanata?
Kanata, yeah. I wasn't a big fan. Of course, I've been in contact with all my sort of Star Wars collecting friends, and some of them were you know, really enjoyed the performance, but I just thought she was a bit of we got to have a Yoda type figure. I didn't quite get what the glasses, magnifying and unmagnifying were about, and I don't know, she was a bit, you know, it's that Yoda mystical speak, and I know listening to Mark over the last couple of weeks, he pretty much hates Yoda. And what do you think, Mark? Did you hate Maz Kanata?
She wants to fuck Chewie. Come on, that's worth some points.
Yeah. I felt a little bit like you say, it was, we've got to have them interacting with somebody who isn't it felt a little bit like, here's a new toy. With that one.
And the castle looked like a bit like a shit cantina, didn't it? Let's be honest. They were trying to get we've said how much it was like it's a regurgitated New Hope, and they were trying to recreate the cantina, but that band was nowhere near the cantina band.
Mm. They could have amped that up a little bit more. The fact that they amped it up as you walk in. It's like, Maz has looked over this watering hole for 1,000 years, and you go in and go, well, that's fucking been a little bit fucking better than this in 1,000 years.
That's it. It was like a bit like a shit hipster bar.
Yeah.
Are we out? Actually, I will say, John Williams' score. When you were saying earlier on about Steve about Rey being like childlike, I think her theme and the music associated with her really helped with that. There was like the scene where she gets the thing and she's kind of sliding down from the Star Destroyer, and you've got that kind of piano-y music kind of playing. I really liked that, and I thought it amped things up nicely, and I liked that they didn't fall back on the old themes all that often, but when they did kick in, it was just really spot on moments.
I've I've got my hairs are standing on end while you're talking about it. That's how much I like that piece of music, and I think I know I'm getting the soundtrack for Christmas. I know someone's bought it me for Christmas, so I'll have to wait till then to listen to it. But that particular, you're right, Ray's themes throughout, were brilliant. Also the last bit of music, and I know we've talked about how we perhaps thought the last scene with Luke went on a little bit too much, but yeah, that theme for me was the standout. But you're right, there were a couple of cues that related back to the OT, but it wasn't overly, there was no Imperial March or anything like that. It wasn't overly relying on the existing canon. So yeah, I think if I was going to give the film an 8.5 out of 10 at the moment, and I've not re-listened to the score in isolation, but I'd give that a 9 out of 10.
The score is great. It's like if you got a subscription to Apple Music, it's available through that. So I've been listening to it a bit lately, and it really holds up outside the film as well. It's wonderful, and I don't know, it's interesting because obviously Williams isn't scoring Rogue One. I think Giacchino is, if I remember correctly. So, and frankly, it's going to be interesting to see how long Williams lives for, and whether he's going to be able to get through the scores for 8 and 9 as well. I mean, Bridge of Spies he didn't do because he had health problems. But I do hope so. I can't see. It's going to be weird listening to a Star Wars score next year and knowing it's not Williams.
I would quite happily pay a sum of money into an account to pay for Williams' healthcare. To keep him alive, put him in bubble wrap for fuck's sake. He is one of the major things about Star Wars. If you go back to the original trilogy and even the prequel trilogy was made 10% better by his scores.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I mean, fucking Duel of the Fates and Across the Stars, seriously, is it Across the Stars in episode 2? Is that what it's called?
It is. It's one of the only good things about that film.
Yeah, man. I mean, that piece of music is great. It really, I don't know, it just brings up Anakin and Padme in my mind, and for better or worse. But just, the where that kicks in, where they're kissing as they're being led out into that kind of gladiatorial arena. Yeah. It's just like, that is some fucking hairs on neck shit as well. Despite Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman on screen.
I mean, you just brought up Duel of the Fates. I mean, that piece of music and that lightsaber battle, there's no better lightsaber battle in the entire saga than that lightsaber battle in episode 1.
Agreed.
But people weren't the actors didn't seem to be as invested, even though that's a superb, I think Duel of the Fates is better than anything in the Force Awakens score. And I think that lightsaber battle shat all over the lightsaber battle in the forest that was in Force Awakens. But Force Awakens is so much better a film because everyone's so invested. It's so much more like my original trilogy than the sequels ever were.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I quite like the lightsaber battle. I agree. It's no Qui-Gon, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, but I liked that it was two relatively inexperienced people going at it. I just the fucking rage, and I suppose like you were talking about the darkness coming for Rey. Considering what happens in that battle, and it did kind of seem like if they didn't get separated off, she was going to straight up fucking murder him.
She would have finished him had there not been that sort of separation.
It's, oh god. The thing is, when I say I hope it doesn't happen, it's the character. I really hope that character does not go to the dark side. I'd rather,
right?
Yeah. Like, I don't want her to go, like, because, I mean, not in a, because it would be shit, just in a, I'm invested in her character and I don't want to see her go bad. It's just, I'm fully, what this film has done for me is I'm fully fucking in with Poe, Finn and Rey. I am fully fucking in, and I'm really glad it's only a year and a half and not 2 years for episode 8. But then that 2-year wait between episode 8 and episode 9 is going to be murder.
Yeah, it could be a hell of a long time, that 2-year wait. No, you're right. For me, the casting, is superb. You know, give Nina Gold a medal, because, Isaacs has been in some superb this stuff. I loved Ex Machina. You know, he's done some quality stuff. I mean, I loved Inside Llewellyn Davis as well. He's hot stuff, and he's gonna rock whatever he does, I think. And Ridley looks like a real find, a real sort of breakout star, and Boyega's got energy to spare. So yeah, I think you're right, Ian. I think those main three are really going to take the saga forward.
And I mean, you know, Adam Driver as well. I mean, he's fantastic in this. I'm really, really hopeful for the future now. This is, I kind of wish Abrams was coming back for episode 8, to be fair. I like Rian Johnson, but it's just Abrams, it is a safe pair of hands. I don't know whether Johnson, and especially Trevorrow, even though I like Jurassic World, I'm not too sure.
You see, that's where I disagree. I think I'm glad JJ's a one shot and done, because I don't think he's got much more to give. And yeah, I agree. Both Rian Johnson and Colin Trevorrow are risks, but let's take a bit of a risk. This film needed to be good enough. It needed. I mean, it's reports have come out today that it's broken Jurassic World's record for the opening weekend. What's it done? 258 million?
Yeah, it did. About 250 million in the US, which is crazy.
It needed that. JJ was here to bring it back, and now he's brought it back. I think we need a little bit of adventure. I think we need to break the mould a little bit, because like we said before, we don't want another Starkiller Base stroke Death Star. We don't want the same stuff regurgitated. We've got to, we've got to expand the mythos a little bit.
That's true. I mean, is it right that Benicio del Toro is going to be like a villain in episode 8?
I fucking hope so.
That's very, 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 very interesting, and I like that they're not with with the villains. They're not just leaving it at the set that we've got, because General Hux is pretty much useless. Captain Phasma pretty much useless. You've got Kylo Ren. I want to have someone who can maybe give Kylo Ren a bit of shit and actually feel threatening, because you've got General Hux kind of sniping at him. But like Mark said, it does kind of feel like a boy trying to be a man or something, It's, if it's Benicio del Toro versus Adam Driver, ideologically, that's a fight I want to see.
Yeah, the Sith have always worked on, replace the apprentice as soon as you can. So if Snoke's less than happy with what Ren's done, I can see him trying to bring someone else in, and that creating a bit of tension. I tell you what wasn't in it very much, the Knights of Ren. I mean, that was a big bit of interest from the trailer, and that was only in the flashback.
One shot, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was only in the flashback there, or the dream sequence there. So, I think there's a whole area to be explored about who the Knights of Ren are, what they've done. Is Snoke a Sith? He's not. I think that whole bad guy area has got a real expanse to open up, and like I say, I hope 8 and 9 delves into that, definitely.
I will also say the title font at the end, I wasn't a massive fan of it. It felt different from 4, 5 and 6. I don't know, this is so fucking bad, but like, for me, I'm such a dick, but did the titles seem a bit bigger than they should have been? Or, I don't know, they seemed a bit starker. Against the star field in the background, it didn't quite look right to me.
You see, I thought I was supposed to be the nerd on this podcast, and
I'm fucking hell, serious,
you've out-nerded me, man. I didn't notice anything. I tell you what I did notice in the credits at the end. The guy who, I don't know if you know, Admiral Akbar's my character. And the guy who voiced Admiral Akbar, we met last year, me and the wife, we went down to London Comic Con, and he's a guy called Eric Bowersfeld, and he's 93. And to be honest, when we met him, I thought he wasn't too far from passing. He was really, really not looking good at all. And yet he voiced Akbar again in this. That's what my focus was on during the credits.
Fair enough. Well, when you go to see it, Nate, look out for that title font. It's fucking I'm telling you, it's not right.
So I'm looking for too big. It's too big for the Starfield.
It's too big, and it looks like it might be a bit too bright.
Right, that's what I'm
telling you.
That's what my next viewing will be about. I saw Revenge of the Sith 7 times at the cinema. So far I've seen Force Awakens 2 times. So I can imagine I've got a couple of viewings yet to go.
Yeah, man, you gotta beat 7. You gotta beat 7.
I will definitely be focusing on the end credits now.
You gotta fucking do it, man, I'm telling you. Right, shit, that was like the longest main review Dude and the Monkey's ever had. Was that about an hour?
It's about an hour, yeah.
Bloody hell. So yeah, definitely shit. Don't see it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not shit on that one. A surprise, definitely not shit.
I'm so happy about that. Mark, I could have strangled you last week.
Fucking blame you.
I tell you what, Steve, I'm definitely not shit, obviously, by the way. I tell you what, Steve, when he fucking came out and said that he liked Jedi, I genuinely could have hugged him then. It was that Empire one. Bemusement's the fucking word, man.
I honestly consider Empire Strikes Back as a perfect film. For me, that is a 10 out of 10. It is the first Star Wars film I saw at the cinema, so perhaps that's why it holds a special place in my heart. But for me, it's a 10 out of 10. There's virtually nothing wrong with that. And to hear Mark berate it as he did, I wept.
I apologise. It just, for some reason, these films just don't click with me. But I'm looking forward to the next one, is what I'll say.
And to hear Mark, how he talks up some of these erotic thrillers that he does. And then to hear him lay into Empire Strikes Back, God, I'll
be the first to admit I have terrible taste in movies majority of the time.
He sort of likes Basic Instinct 2 more than he likes Empire Strikes Back.
You like The Loft more than Empire Strikes Back.
Great movie.
The Loft is not a fucking great movie.
It's not, but I think it is.
I'm kind of tempted to maybe call it a day there, because
I would. What I will say is I did watch one movie essentially last week, and it was Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, and it is brilliant. So people seriously watch it because it is so much fucking fun.
I watched Jupiter Ascending last night, and
how was that for you?
That's exactly what a space opera should not be. God, that was shit.
I thought Jupiter. Sorry, go
on. As a Star Wars fan, that's what you had nightmares about, that Star Wars would look something like that. I was just perplexed at how that ever got made.
How do you like old Eddie Redmayne in it?
I was lost for words through.
I am Eddie Redmayne.
Bloody hell! I couldn't. You said I'm struggling to talk. I couldn't get with how poorly thought out it was. It had almost this sort of design of The Fifth Element, but without the knowing humour of it. It was the Wachowskis have got to really look at themselves and think, what the hell are we putting out here?
They are definitely filmmakers whose time's passed.
That film, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, the whole, he saves her, she gets kidnapped again, he saves her, she gets kidnapped again. Like, literally, I think they do that 3 times over in that film. It's fucking, like, I don't know, that is such a weird misfire, that fucking flick.
And I never thought I'd see as much of Mila Kunis staring into toilet bowls as I did.
Oh, that's right, yeah, she's like a fucking cleaner, isn't she?
Yeah, it's not a great film, Jupiter Ascending.
Bloody hell.
If I do ever meet Eddie Redmayne face to face, that is the film I will ask him about. Just because I know a little bit of him will die inside if I just go, oh, you're the guy, oh, what was it, you were in Jupiter Ascending, weren't you? Because he was like, I'm not doing any promo work for that, I am not mentioning it at all.
Oh God, yeah, it was around the time he was up for the Oscar as well, wasn't it?
Jupiter Ascending, sponsored by Toilet Duck.
There you go. I'll just rattle off a couple of things really quickly. I watched The Ridiculous Six, which is 2 hours long.
What?
It's 119 minutes long. It's ridiculous. I laughed a few times. I did.
Yep.
But it's 2 hours long. You're laughing a few times in a comedy that's 2 hours long.
But am I right in thinking this is a film?
Yeah.
It's a film. It's the first of the Adam Sandler Netflix contracts, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got another 2 or 3 of these to come out.
Yeah, I think there was 4-picture deal. And, I mean, the thing is, it's out of budget. It actually looks alright, you know, but...
Do you like Sandler stuff?
No, I mean, grown-ups can fuck off. Have I seen grown-ups too?
No, I'm talking about the previous Sandler stuff.
Like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, old school Sandler, sure. Yeah.
$60 million.
I could believe that.
Fuck me. And it's not been released in cinemas, it's just a Netflix film.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's fucking balls from Netflix. Fair.
Netflix have got fucking cash to fucking spare though, bud.
They do, but still, it's a bold move to throw that much money at something that's, you know, for their thing. They must fucking, I mean, it must be that Sandler films must get a lot of fucking throughplay on Netflix.
Just take a minute and think of what you could do with 60 million.
I know. It's insane. Imagine about good movies you could make with it.
I mean, it's mental that Netflix's first 2 original movies to be released on Netflix are Beasts of No Nation and The Ridiculous Six. It's such a weird dichotomy of aim and quality. It's just, yeah. But I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I know it's not. It's rubbish. But I don't know how I just said it's fine.
Are there links with the Hateful Eight? Because I can only imagine that's why he's called it the Ridiculous Six.
No, not at all. I mean, it's obviously, he just basically came up with it after he heard about the Hateful Eight. The story for what it is, Adam Sandler plays a guy whose mum was killed like when he was young, and he was raised by Native Americans, and his biological father, played by Nick Nolte, comes along and says, I'm dying, I hid a load of money in this place and I want you to have it. And then he gets kidnapped by Danny Trejo. So Adam Sandler goes off in search for him and finds out that his dad had 6 kids with different mothers. And it's Adam Sandler, Taylor Lautner, Jorge Garcia, Hurley from Lost, Terry Crews, Luke Wilson, and Rob Schneider. They're all half brothers basically, and they go off to save him. Taylor Lautner is actually going full retard. It's seriously as if he watched Tropic Thunder, saw Simple Jack, and thought, that's what I'm aiming for. It's mental. Just watch part of it just to see what I mean. Luke Wilson doesn't do an awful lot, but I mean, Terry Crews is kind of fun. Jorge Garcia doesn't speak the word, he just mumbles and stuff. He basically plays like a hermit, but he's okay. It's not as offensive as a lot of Sandler's other stuff, just from a quality point of view. So that's something. I don't know why I actually watched the whole thing, but I did. And when I said it's fine, it's because I was looking at the poster for Vacation, which I also watched. And it's fine.
Vacation's fine, yeah. It's alright.
It's The meta-ness annoyed me because the Jump Street films did it far better a few years before. And I don't know, it's Ed Helms being trusting and innocent, and towards the end he loses his cool.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Chevy Chase. But at least Chevy Chase had an air of smuttiness to him. Ed Helms in this is basically kind of playing it squeaky clean. Even though I did like the whole thing about him teaching his son about rim jobs, just being like kissing the rim of the mouth, and then his son asked the girl for a rim job. I don't know, it's simple pleasures like that are fine, and Charlie Day has quite a good little cameo in it. But yeah, it's fine. It's utterly inessential, but it killed 95 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we may as well end it there. So thank you very much again to Steve. That was great. And also thank you for leading the discussion there. You did a far better job than I did. It was good. You were like kind of moving things along and bringing up good points and good topics of conversation. And that's not usually what I do, so I appreciate it.
Oh, I could talk about Star Wars for hours and hours and hours. It has been an absolute delight being asked to come on the show. I listened to Cinerama back in the day.
Yes, you did.
I listened to 35mm Heroes. You are some of my podcasting heroes, the pair of you. I listen to, quite a breadth of podcasts, and I'm so pleased that there are some people like yourselves who are sort of constants in the podcasting community. So it's an absolute delight to be asked to come on the show. And thank you very much.
Oh, bless you, Steve. That's really kind.
It's good to know that we're actually entertaining some people.
Yeah. Cause, apparently Miranda Sawyer seems to think that we all need to make art, and
fuck off.
I don't know whether you've seen anything about this, Steve, but Miranda Sawyer did an article in The Guardian about how British podcasts are so much worse than US podcasts because of how much better produced US podcasts are. And she's talking about how, like any art, blah, blah, blah. And and she's basically saying, podcasts just seem to be people trying to make each other laugh more than anything else. And it's like, right, I'd appreciate it if someone who didn't just learn what podcasts were 2 days ago could actually write an article about podcasting.
Well, you see, for me, podcasting isn't an art form.
No, exactly.
So that whole article just becomes redundant there.
There's the most pithy and pathetic line of the entire fucking bullshit article is the last line it, which is, I can quote it direct, "All art is made through editing after all. Why should podcasting be any different?" For a start off, podcasting's not art. It isn't art. Secondly, not all art is made through editing at all. It's just an utterly ridiculous article written by an idiot who has no idea what podcasting actually is, and that people like me and Ian didn't just decide to do a podcast and then go, right, that's it, have a chat and try and make each other laugh and then put it out. There is a lot that goes sort of on behind the scenes and stuff like that. We don't have a professional studio. For a start off, we record it in different fucking countries.
Podcasting is raw conversation, but that doesn't mean to say there's not work that goes on behind it. I work for an American podcast, and they have, Arnie, the guy who runs Star Wars Action News, runs a number of podcasts, including a film review podcast, and it is, perhaps a bigger organism than some of the UK podcasts, but it still has that raw feel to it. It's not about art, it's about opinion. Podcasting is about opinion. It's what you want to get out there, and people like me who listen to lots of podcasts, and like I've listened to you two fellas for absolute time. I listen to you because of the relationship, because of, you two guys, how you get on together and what you talk about. That's what I tune into. I tune into because I want to hear you two getting on. I want to hear you talk about film, of course, but I found this so easy tonight talking to the pair of you because it's real. It's not art at all.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's a ridiculous article that essentially, like Ian said, it's somebody who's just learned what podcasting is and thinks that Serial is what podcasting is, and it's not. It's not at all. That's like turning around and saying, "Oh my god, I watched an episode of I don't fucking know this morning today, and it was terrible. It was no Star Wars Force Awakens."
Yeah.
What? That's not even the fucking same thing. That's like comparing a fucking restaurant menu to fucking Moby Dick.
Cereal is what I have if I've got enough milk in.
I will never listen to that podcast. I don't care how many people say how good it is. And you know this second series of Serial, there's just going to be people fucking minging on about how it's not as good as the first one.
It's going to be wank.
I can't be doing with it. Anyway, fuck it. Yes. I've got to go and be a dad, as I think Mike says on there, Chin Striker versus Punter, which I quite like. So, again, thank you very much to Steve. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as much as I say we'd like to have you on for something non-Star Wars related, I imagine we'll probably have you on for something Star Wars related in the future.
I am always willing and able to talk Star Wars, and thank you to you two lads. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for keeping going. I know it's not easy doing the podcast, Lark. I really do appreciate the effort you both put in. So cheers, lads.
Oh, well, bless you, man. Thank you very much. And Mark, we are going to do In the Heart of the Sea next week, and it will be out. I don't know. It'd probably be out between that episode. Would probably be out between Christmas and New Year, wouldn't it? I suppose. But
it will, because I'm off after a quick fit, and I've got to do tomorrow morning. That's it. I'm off until the fucking New Year. So
bastard.
Watch a lot as well.
Fucking bastard. And happy Christmas to everybody. Stay safe, and that's brilliant. Right, let's leave it there. Thank you very much, guys.
Speak to y'all later.